Trade recap 10th of March. Today I'm up $275, had like a good 3-hour win. And yeah, overall it wasn't that easy to trade, especially after we got this huge sell-off in the afternoon session, but let's dig into it. So what was my expectancy in the pre-market plan today? Basically, we were like pretty high on the ETH, we were balancing around, coming back down once more, holding this area, and then we shot higher and accepted this balance. And I've drawn it out here. There was like this bigger balance starting from 6,820 all the way up to 6,900, somewhere around that. And I had like some expectancies drawn here, such as the continuation, getting over this low volume node here and going higher, or failing from up here and we see the continuation to the downside, or yeah, then holding the area once more, or we even like leave it and accept balances lower. That was my expectancy for today. And basically today I've only taken one trade. Why? Because like there wasn't any setup showing up for me. I've started trading today a little bit later, I would say only at 10:45, 10:35, somewhere around that, but definitely again after the first hour I'm doing way better with that. And what have we got? Let's check this chart here. It's like better for the overview. We basically had like this ETH kind of move where we're constantly bidding. You just cannot trade it. If you are like marketing in, you wouldn't be able to trade this move. And then we were gaining access over this bigger balance here. And I've drawn out this as a balance low. So what have we gotten here? We were like constantly coming back into these lows, sometimes making like a new high from down there, and then with this big sell-off. I was waiting for this area, to be honest, but the selling was just pretty crazy and it didn't look pretty good. Like the only thing I would say based on the footprint chart where an entry would have been like responsible to trade to take was like after we saw those more buys starting to step in, because this was like some sellers getting absorbed, but it isn't like any indication for me to go along, because I only want to see the opposite of the market participant, in this case the buyer, to gain access and strength by showing it to me by their aggressive buying, which has only happened up here. And then from down there they were like constantly making this higher high structure, which showed me like a pretty good strength of the move. You can never know, but for me it was like that. And then they made like a new high from here once more, a smaller one, and I told myself, okay, if they want to come down once more, I like this negative delta area, this big one. I liked that previous selling got absorbed here, as you guys can see, and also that prior buying was starting from down here. I've put my limits out here, luckily got filled, and then I was just staying in the trade until it hit my full take profit. The last one was like last profit was a 5-hour win. Those were like 2.8 hour, because right now I'm using a 6-point stop instead of a 5-point one. If you would calculate it based on a 5-point stop, you would have had like a 3-hour win. Like 2 contracts were taken off at the 3-hour, and the last one was taken off at a 5-hour. It was like a pretty good area. Why did I expect them to reach my target? Because as you guys saw, after we accepted this balance, I wanted to see them get higher, and at least to this area. I didn't thought that they will fail at this particular area already, but they did, and luckily I was out early enough, and then there was just a crazy bidding coming in. I was looking for this area to buy once more, but the reason why I didn't like to do that was we had like a pretty aggressive sell-off And then after we saw these buyers coming in, it wasn't like there wasn't any time for it to trade that. Or maybe I could have like entered but more aggressively without like a pretty secure stop, 6 point stop. Yeah, I would still be below these lows where they could have definitely tried to hold out in this negative area. But yeah, from down there was like a 17-point move, like a 3R could have been possible, even though I thought that they will hold this and they get back to the other side of the balance. But as you guys know, trading isn't like any 100% certainty. It's only thinking in probability. And yeah, sellers just took control, got lower, got or they failed to buyers failed to hold this balance here, and instead sellers got lower and selling balances happened here. And you could have definitely tried to trade this balance extreme here. This area would have worked out perfectly. And then from down there was like a constant selling right now. As you guys can see, more and more selling is starting to shape up. So I would say I catch like a pretty good move and the only meaningful move in today's environment. We haven't gotten like any pretty big move to the upside, like 50 points. That's okay for ES, but not like great in this kind of environment. But yeah, overall still up, 3 are up. I can definitely live with that.